Hi, I'm Thelma of Seasonal Crafts and Creations, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you're new. Today I have for you 6 DIY decors with merchandise from the Dollar Tree. So without further ado, let's get to crafting. And I just used an old shirt, flannel, and get a permanent marker. Sit this evenly and just trace it on the outside. Be slow as not to bubble up your fabric. Just trace it all the way around. And once you have it traced, set this aside. And you didn't have to trace the stem because you'd just be cutting that off anyway. And you will need a pair of scissors and just trim it. And you can go in a little bit because all that's doing is getting glued onto this. And just go straight where the stem is. And see how I'm going in just a little bit from the line that we traced. And just continue to cut all the way around. Now once you have it trimmed, go ahead and lay it out. Lay this on it. Just measure it out and make sure you have it where there's none going to be showing, none of the fabric going to be showing on the outside. And I should have told you this, but you will need a glue gun. And put this front face down. And if you go over, just take it and trim it off. Now get your glue gun or plug it in if you need to. Pause this, and then let's get started to gluing it. Be careful not to burn your fingers. And you do this all the way around. And it only takes a second, really, to do it. Well, not a second, but about a minute. Okay, now if you have any more, just lift it up and trim it off if it's showing. Alright, now turn it around and it should look like this. And you can use any color that you want of the sign. And look and see if you see any spaces coming through, like right here, and just lift it up, and what it is, I went around too far on the glue and it started to dry, so let me grab a glue stick, okay, and just go around checking, seeing if there's any spots that didn't take. And it's normal, it can happen because it does dry fast on certain surfaces, and I guess wood-like is like that. Now you will need some Pod Modge, and a paintbrush, and some paper towels to lay on it. Now, you will need to print out. I got this from Pinterest.com, and it was free. So all you have to do is lay it up against it, knock off some of the stuff that you know you don't need, and down here. Now, take it and just eye it and measure it. So you need to come down some. So this one, what we're going to do is just trim the whole thing. And make sure you get up into the printout. That way you don't have any of the white paper showing. And try to cut it as straight as you can. Okay, now get your Pod Modge. Here it is. I'm just going to dip mine right down in the bottle. And be fast at doing this, because this does have a tendency to dry fast. And if there's lumps in it, just pick it out and sit it on your anything you have, your paper towels, palette, whatever. Just don't leave it on this, or it'll form a big lump in your printout, in your page, and it won't look nice. Leave a comment. Let me know what pumpkin shade you decided to use and what printout you decided on. And with it being a pumpkin shape, you can even use it for Halloween. You can get a Halloween one. Now be careful laying this down. Make sure it's even, because you only get one shot at this. And make sure you spread it out. Make sure all the bubbles and creases are gone. And make sure you leave this on it. That way you have something to hang it with. Now let's get some Pod Modge. I keep calling it Mod Podge. And seal it. That helps protect it. There's another piece of the lump. See, I'm almost down to the end of my bottle. Mod Podge doesn't act like that all the time. It's just paper from the lid got down in it and settled at the bottom. If any comes up, just go back under there and push it down. And it takes about 24 hours to dry, so make sure you have it somewhere safe and flat. Okay, and this is what the first, let me get some of these creases out after I set it up. Just go like that. And this is what it looks like. So make sure you set it somewhere nice to where it'll be nice and safe to dry for 24 hours. Okay, our next project is this pumpkin wall hanging. What you do, now I used this before and took it back off the wreath and put it on this. It doesn't go, it normally goes with a tan one outside here, but I don't have one, so I'm just using this, and I'm going to paint the pumpkin green, and because this is the inside of the pumpkin, and then we're going to put a picture that I printed off from Pinterest.com. So let's get started. And you will need some Pod Modge for this too. Just go all the way to the edges. Put a thick coat on, and you probably have to put 2 coats on. Or one real big thick one. But the words are coming through, so you probably will need 2 coats. So let's let this dry and work on something else. Okay, I got this little darling owl at the Dollar Tree. There's 2 other kinds like it, the brown and one with like a brownish burgundy color. And I have this extra one I'm going to share with you all and paint it. So we're going to go with white. Just paint it all over. And this will probably take 2 coats too. Because see the streaks through it, it needs 2 coats. But if you see these owls at the Dollar Tree and you want to do something with them, you better grab them because they go fast. It's just a short little fat owl. It's so cute. As soon as I seen them, I'm like, they need a white owl to go with it. Don't forget his little feet. Let's see how it's not going on that thick. The first coat's more like a base for it. And this should just take about an hour or two to dry. Doesn't take long. But I'm going to go ahead and go around with this paint that I have to cover everything. Like I'm going to cover up the ears where I just touched them. So don't forget to do that. Okay, so now we need to set it aside so it can dry. And for our next project, you will need this Thankful and Blessed pumpkin wall hanger. You will need this, excuse me, I already took it apart, not thinking, but it is the Farm Fresh Pumpkins yard sign. You just pop these right off, and you will need the truck part for this, and maybe the little arrow, so just keep it just in case. And you will need 2 of these Farm Fresh hand-picked Pumpkins Daily signs. But first we're going to work on this one. Now you just take a butter knife or something and go under here and pop this up, and go ahead and take this off, unless you want to use it because you don't have any ribbon. Take that off, lay it aside, and you get it a little wet if you have one of them scrapers, or you can use sandpaper, and then you dry it. And what you need to do is I have pumpkin orange. It's number 20588E from Apple Barrel at Walmart, 50 cents a bottle. I have the Harvest Orange, 20589E, same. And this is it's multi-purpose acrylic paint, Apple Orange, 20581. And this is from Walmart too, and I believe they changed the bottle on it since I bought this, but this is the Apple Barrel too. So anyway, you get you some of it all in a little space here, and you mix it to come up with your own color, or you can just use any color you want to paint your pumpkin. It could be blue, pink, yellow. And this one I'm going to shake up because it's been a while since I used it, and just put a little of that in there. Now get your paintbrush, mix it up, or you can put it straight on the pumpkin, but for those of you who don't know how to do that yet, I decided to do it this way, because I'm a beginner at just painting stuff again too. I used to paint all the time, but my painting booklet got stolen. Long story, I'll just say it got stolen, and I haven't been into painting up until recently since that happened. Okay, now so just slap it on there, and if you get any thick pieces, like right there, just take them out. Make sure you hold your little pumpkin so it'll stay still for you. And even though this is going to be covered up, that's where this Farmer's Fresh pumpkin sign is going, you still want to, excuse me, put a coat of paint over it to, just in case the glitter interferes with the glue sticking. I like this color. You can even leave it and just paint over, or find a sign that completely goes over this. You can even use that wooden truck that you can get at the Dollar General, but they don't get them in until Valentine's Day. But if you have one that you used last Valentine's, just pop it right off what you used it in your crafts and put it on here. That would look real nice. But just keep doing this back and forth at an angle until you have it all. And once you have it all painted, just set it aside. And I'm just going to go ahead and brush more of these. I got some, there was a little bit more that dried. You just want to make sure you get that out, because it'll just leave a lump. It's where paint hasn't been used in a while, and it starts sticking in up and settling. So let's just let it sit and dry. Okay, while that one's drying, let's take one of the Farm Fresh pumpkins, and you will need some of the Waverly chalk. You can get it at Walmart for around $5. I have ivory because they were out of white, but you can use either one. And, well, got it. It was stuck in a few spots where it was drying. And I always wipe off because there was glitter here. Let me take this off of this. And first go up to the stem, but don't paint over it. And I just forgot, left my jute twine on, but take it off. You can put it on after you get finished painting and everything's dry. But I go around the edges first. So get one real good thick coat on. That way when it dries, it'll be ready. We're going to put this on as a base so all that dark paint doesn't show through while you're painting it. So let's just make sure that we paint the whole thing in even strokes as you go all the way around. Okay, and now once this is finished, let it dry. It normally takes about an hour for chalk paint, a good hour, hour and a half. Just keep checking it, but Make sure to get all of the pumpkins that we painted. Let them all get dry first, the signs, before we start on the project. Okay, so I'm going to let mine dry, and we'll come back right back to it in a second. And now that this is finished drying, we can put this printout that I printed out from Pinterest.com. It was free. You'll need your scissors, you'll need some Mod Podge, and you will need a paintbrush. And first, just measure this out, okay? Trim it to where the white doesn't show, even if you have to go in a little bit on the paint at the edge, or whatever picture you decide to print out. Just remember to make the background what you want to stand out and help make the picture stand out. I love painting now that I'm back into it and Mod Podging. It's just so relaxing. And I believe I cut this just perfect. Now if you printed out the same picture, if you want, you can go into here, this little pink line, and cut it down to there. And you can circle it on the edges, which I'll show you how, because I'm going to do that. You just take it and you slowly curve and go into a curve. And you do the same thing for all four sides. And then, see the point right there? Then you go on down and make it more curved. You go ahead and do the bottom. That way it looks more round. I find it's easier just to flip it over like that. That way you don't take a chance of scratching your newly painted surface. Excuse me. Now, get you some Mod Podge. And a paintbrush. I'm going to use this one, but remember to hurry because it does dry fast, and you want to get all the way to the edges. And don't worry about lines or it showing up white, because it dries clear. But you just want to go fast on it. And once you get it, just make sure you have the up towards the up side. Even it out. Make sure it's straight. And smooth it out to get any bubbles or lumps out of it. And now, use your brush, get more Mod Podge, and let's seal it in. Go all the way to the edges, and again, it doesn't matter if it shows up white, it dries clear, so it won't show if you have it a little bit thicker on one side. But make sure you get these ends real good. Go around like that if need be. And this is what it looks like. See the detail and the way the picture makes the green shine, and it just attracts each other and makes them stand out, the colors. Okay, so next we'll get started with the other pumpkins. Okay, now that everything's dry, it's ready to we're ready to finish the project. Put your orange pumpkin in the middle. Get your truck and get you some E6000 and your glue gun. Now, first put E6000 all over. It might be hard to come out if you're at the end of it. Doesn't need a lot, just in the top. In the top up here and in the center. You move this before I burn myself. And down at the bottom here, this is to make it seal permanently, but it takes like 24 hours to dry. And I'm almost out of this, so that's why it's so hard to get it out. Now put you some glue going in between it. And along the inside of it. Alright, now flip it around and be careful before you put it down and make sure you're putting it in the right spot. Keep it straight. Now press down on it. See, that glue gets so hot you can feel it in this sign here. Okay. Now let's get one of the other signs, and first you measure where you're going to put it. Put your other one and put under to make sure it sits up there straight. Turn this a little so you can see everything. Just measure it out. Make sure it's even. Alright, now, tell you what, before you take it out from underneath it, make sure you draw some lines. That way you know where to put the glue at and where to stop painting these two. So let's put some E6000. get you some glue. Now just put it in between the E6000, not on it. I need to get me a new glue gun, is what it looks like. I just bought this from Hobby Lobby. Well, I didn't buy it. It was part of my birthday present. We thought, sure enough, coming from there, it would work. Okay, now line up the pumpkin along with the lines. Make sure it's straight. Now press down on it. You put some more glue. I dropped my glue stick. Just stick some more glue back in under there. Get that glue out right there. That was popping a little bit. The popping you heard, it was this here not glued on right, or it didn't seal right. Okay, and now get a pencil and starting here, go this way because that's the way the pumpkin goes, up towards the right, and this one goes up towards the left. Then you go up here and draw your little lines curved like. And then you go here on this one up to here, and you just curve it, and then you come back down, do the same to this one, just curve it, and curve it like that. I already did this side over here. I practiced on it because this is new to me. So when I say it's for beginners, it really is for beginners. Okay, put the pencil down, and then, wait a minute, we can do some here. Just erase, just put some little squiggly vines right through here. Do that leaf so you can see, and then bring it back up. Twirl this at the end. Now, right here, get you another one like that, and then do a little swirl right here, zigzagging. I'm going to paint over this with the right colors. Now, down here on the bottom, just shape it. Do the same here. And on this one, let's start about right here. And then go on down this way, go back up, and then do another small one. And let's do the same over here. Let's see, do some zigzags. Now I'll bring it back up, because this is going to be painted over, just like I said. You won't see where you erase that. Let's see, that's enough on this side, and let's do the trim up here, right over here. This is going to be done in burnt umber, apple barrel, or you can try a real dark brown. Now, let's just do a little line up through here, and then do a little right here. If you don't want to do this, you don't have to, but I think it'll make it look cute. Okay, now for painting, let's get the oranges out. Get some Harvest Orange from Apple Barrel from Walmart. Get some browns out. Okay, the orange we might use over here on this one, but I'm going to stick with some burnt umber, some real brown, I have 2 of those here, and some territorial beige, and some white. And what you do, you put your real brown down, I always sit the ones that I use off to the side. That way if I have to get any more of them. Now put some territorial beige. Some white. Put some white by itself. What I did, I put the real brown, territorial beige, some white with the real brown, and some white, and there's a little bit of orange. We'll do the burnt umber in a moment after we paint. You need some different size paintbrushes. I'm going with a small one right now, one of these, to start painting at the edge in here around where the little burnt umber is going to be. And for that you will need these 2 sizes. I don't know the types, they don't have it on them. And then as we get the painting the pumpkin, we will need 1 this size. Let me set those 2 off. Okay, so start with some white with a little bit of territorial beige in it. Mix it up like this. Now, just go in here and start, since I didn't take that off, I have to work around it. Just go in there and start painting. You can paint over the pencil markings because it's a thin coat. Get you some more of that same mixture. Just do the outer edges of the pumpkin. Do some more of the white with the territorial beige. Okay, now get you some, a little bit of the mix up there that you have, put it in the white, and just start painting with smears of the territorial beige coming around. Just remember to mix it. Make sure to get the lines as you're painting. There's lines on each side of your brush that I've noticed for those of you that's new. I think I'm doing this right. This is my first big painting that I've done since I've started back painting. And if you watched it, it was that little 8x10 canvas. So leave in the remarks what paint colors you're using, and are you going with this, or you can even do the checkers and the diamond shapes over here. There's so many things you can do. Just make sure you have this going in a half of a moon angle. That way it'll get some detail to the pumpkin. Now I'm going over here. If you get any, hurry up and wipe it off. Get any on that stem, because I'm leaving mine that color. You can paint yours if you are that good of a painter. But if you're just a beginner like me, you might want to leave it and tackle that on a different day. Put your little whites going up through there. Okay, now we're going to step over to this side and leave this alone for a minute. Do the mixing of the white and the territorial beige again. Get some off your paintbrush. It's this little corner here we're going after. and make sure it gets some white and put on it because that shade was a bit darker. So what we can do is go in with some territorial beige with some white and sort of shadow this in right up through here, a little bit darker to let it match. Okay, now on this part, let me get down here. On this part, we're going to do shadow in down here too. Make it all match. On this, we're going to do some dark brown mixed with the white. Not a lot mixed, just a little. Put a little bit more in because it's too light. I want it a little dark. Might as well put all of it in and see. If I need, I can always get some white and add to it. But I think this is going to work out fine. So what we do, we start out going in those little circular motions. I keep smacking that same spot on this other pumpkin. Must really want that color on it. And we'll lighten this up after we have it all painted. Okay, my phone was low on storage, so it stopped working. But all I did was finish painting this with the mixture of white and territorial beige. I did dark brown over here and here with white mixed in it, more white than brown. And then I did the territorial beige and white over here. I'm getting ready to go, well, stuck my thumb in my paint. Give me 1 second, please. I'm getting ready to go back over here and use dark brown. I need a little bit more dark brown. Well, real brown's what it's called. I'm calling it dark brown. I'm sorry. And mix you some white with it. Try a little territorial brown with it too, see if it gives it a nice different color of creamy brown. Just use a little bit of it up here. Oh yeah, I like that color. Okay, so we're going back over this, and that's more of a chocolate color that I was looking for the first time. And I painted over the little lines that I was going to make some burnt, what was it called? Burnt umber. I decided not to do that. You can still do it if you want. All you do is you just follow the lines with your real small brush like this. But if you followed along as I was doing, it'll look like this. So just mix the shades as you want, and you'll come up with something like I did. It doesn't have to be, you can use any color to mix, any oranges and whites, any color. Brown, white, and red. Go over here and do the same on this one. And leave in the comments what color you're using and how you change your mind as you're painting and go for something different, because that's apparently what I'm going to start doing since I started back painting. I just decided to add a different color to it or go over it to make it look different. Hopefully I'll get back into painting like I used to love to paint and draw. Okay, now what we need to do is mix a little bit of this and a little bit of the beige and white. Just keep going till you get the shade you want. Mine looks like that. I am just going around and making lines, circular, like a pumpkin would go. Now we're going to go over here on this side and do the same thing. Get you some of the territorial beige, some white, some of this mixture with the brown and white and territorial beige, and just draw your lines. Go all the way up. Get you a little bit more. Now on these, we need to finish going up and down. I think that would look better. Okay. And it looks like I don't want to put any more paint on the big orange pumpkin. So the next thing is putting a bow on it. Okay, and the ribbon that I have is this like orange that I got from the Dollar Tree, and this buffalo plaid checkered that I got, and the red truck with the pumpkins. So first I'm going to use this. And all you do is, it needs to be a small one. is big enough. Okay, this is big enough. This is about 6 inches from end to end. So you take this and you cut it about that way. Now take your chenille stem and twist it twice. Well, wait a minute, we're going from bottom to top. So take it from under, bring it up, and twist it to where it's facing you. That way you can twist on the other bows as they're made. Now we're going to do the orange. You just do one. Do it to where there's just one on each side, and let's see how this looks. It can be a little bit bigger. Now take it and cut it about right there. Press it like that. Crunch it together. Now the last is the red truck. Okay. Just measure to where it goes from one end to the other, minus about 1/2 inch. And bring it down about like this. About that far, about 6 to 8 inches. And crunch it together. Get your chenille stem and twist it. Okay, now let's start to fluff them. First, I want to take the black and twist it this way, and then fluff it. And bring the tail out. This one has 2, but that's okay. I miscounted. Now bring the red one. Fluff it. Bring your tail down. Fluff this one. Now bring the red truck in the center of them, in the center of the black, of the buffalo and the orange, and just twist it and fluff it. And then do the other side. Just keep fluffing it as you go around. Make sure you see every little bow, or loop I should say. Okay. There's this orange one over here. Let's do it. fluff that buffalo one up. I'm putting the tail, the small tail, back up in it. Okay, now we have a nice little bow. And all we have to do next is cut the tails. So you take it end to end and you cut it straight up, and there's your tail. Do the same for this one. And the last one. Okay, let's move the tail aside for a second. I meant move the bow aside for a second. Let's just fluff this one more time. I'm not a very good bow maker, I guess y'all can tell. Let's just let all these hang and leave the other side of the tails up under the little loop. Okay, let me get my glue gun. Now the stems, let's just bend them back down, but leave it up a little so they'll finish drying. And do the same for this one. The leaves I meant. Now this one, it came off with the little bow that was on it, so I'm going to glue it on first. I need to get a new glue gun. And just push it down for a minute, that way the leaf will curve right into the little dent right there. Okay, so now take the back of your bow, put some glue on it right there. Trying to get a little bit more. Make sure you have the tails hanging down low, down towards the bottom. And just as I thought, it covered up that leaf, it didn't matter. Maybe we can move the bow around a little toward some of it sticks out. Okay, now let's just fluff one more time while we're holding this down. Now let's do these. There. Now let's just fix the tails. Okay, let me bring this up so you can see it. And this is what we come up with. I think it's darling. Beautiful. Let me know what y'all think about our little creation here. Alright, I hope y'all enjoyed today's video, and if you did, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, share the video, and leave a comment. I'd greatly appreciate it because it would help out my channel grow. Until next time.